Hey, today we're going to talk about a word. It's become a dirty word in church and family. When you talk about marriage, that word submit. I have had many brides when we're working on, getting ready for their wedding. They'll say, "Look, please, can we not? I do not want that as part of my vows. I don't want that as part of that." But when you look at the word that's in here, and let's look at the passage. In fact, Paul uses the word a lot. In Ephesians and Colossians. Today, Colossians 3:18 says, "Wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting in the Lord." Okay, so there's going to be some really important parts. And the important word in there is not submit, but it's in the Lord. So what it is wives asking that question. How would Jesus want me to treat my husband? How would Jesus have me see my husband? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Do wives do that? Do we as husbands, do people in families, do we ask that question? Lord, how would you? What's a fitting way for me to do life with my family? Not what makes sense to me, not what's going to help to keep the balance of our budget, and get all that done and make sure the household is running smoothly. But no, what's a fitting way for me to live? Okay. Now, submit could mean, again, a lot of times when you hear that word, it sounds more like pro wrestling, where someone's got somebody in a hold and they're like, submit, right? And they're waiting for the 3 count and they're waiting to defeat that person. Like it's all about winning the argument or winning the battle, or I got my decision met. That's not the way it works. Listen, one of the things I do in my premarital counseling is I teach couples, and I'm going to teach it to you today, that we don't go for, we go for win-win. Okay? We're all loved by God. We're forgiven by Him. He sees us as precious in His eyes. He determines our wealth. He fills us with love and forgiveness. Man, Jesus died for me. He loves me. There is nothing that can change that. I have everything that I could possibly need. And what that's meant to do is to be the foundation on which I stand, and the foundation by which I love my wife and my kids. And I do that. And so I have a role. Right? I am called to do stuff in my marriage. My wife is called as well. And so when we see this word submit being used, there's some cultural things in there. In that day and age, women were not to really talk much in public. They were not to sort of be overbearing and say, "Look, this is the way it's supposed to be." For a woman in ancient times, to be seen as sort of like the Marvel superhero would have been unthinkable. And what Jesus did is He brought a lot of honor to women. I think He brought it back to where it was supposed to be, because God created women. He created Eve. It's a good gift, right? A wife is an amazing gift from God, a blessing to me, blessing to the world, to our family. It's really meant to be awesome. So when we talk about submit here, it's really just saying, you know what? If my husband's got a role, and I'm going to respect that role, right? If he's there, if he's making certain decisions, I'm going to respect him in those decisions. We're going to go with his decision. It might be a decision that we're moving to another place. Man, maybe the husband gets a job, and right, and it's this huge opportunity. It's where you feel, and it's really important here. You really feel, both of you feel it's where God wants you to be. This is not a matter of one person telling everybody what to do and being the dictator. That doesn't say that at all. It just says that your husband is called upon to be a leader. He's called upon to protect his family, to give his very life for his family. We're going to talk about that next week. Husbands have a huge role, right? They're called to give everything. Right? They stand in between their families and danger. They're there in the middle. They're the line of defense. Trusting in God, trusting in all that He's done. And so the wives are called to say, I'm going to honor that. I'm going to honor him. I'm going to love him. I'm going to make sure he knows that he's respected. And when that happens, it's amazing. It's amazing to see what can happen in men's lives. They feel valued. They feel important. And the hope is, and again, God's design is that they love their wives and respect them. Not belittle them, not control them. See, that submit often has that air of control, of manipulation, of domination. That's not what this is at all. This is just everybody realizing, man, we got roles and we need to respect each other and lift each other up. Right? I think we have far too many people who talk down about their spouses. So if that's you, I want to challenge you to never, ever, ever talk trash about your spouse. So wives, never, don't complain to your girlfriends about your husband. Husbands, don't complain with your boys about your wife. No. You should be like, again, you might be frustrated, you might have some issues. Take that to Jesus, right? Take that to Jesus. Talk about it, right? Maybe with a trusted friend, but it's not a bashing session, but it's a, Lord, help me. Because we need that healthy, loving, caring support and this kind of mutual edification and lifting each other up. I hope that helps today for us to change our minds about what it means to submit. Again, it's honoring, it's lifting each other up. That's what's important. That's what God wants us to do, because that's what's fitting as we are God's people. And I pray that we live that out in such a way that people see that that's who we are. So again, love to hear what you think in the comments. Hit that subscribe button, share this with somebody. I'm Pastor Fred. This is The Follow Through. Talk to you next time.